In this video, we're going to be replacing the Serpentine belt tensioner on this 2008 Acura MDX. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get on our belt tensioner. This is located down below. We're going to get on this bolt here and relieve the tension from our belt. We're going to do that with a Serpentine belt tool. The end that we need is a 14 millimeter. We're going to get on that pulley and we're going to push towards the firewall of the vehicle. All right, so once you're on your tensioner, go ahead and push to the rear of the vehicle. Now what that'll do is loosen up your belt. At that point, you should be able to remove the belt from the power steering pump pulley. At this point, we're just going to use a small pry bar to help us. All right, so go ahead and remove your tool. Your belt should possibly pop right off if you've managed to get it off of the pulley enough. It should come right off. And kind of hold that belt up a little bit with some tension on it so it doesn't come off the pulleys on the bottom. If you're not replacing your belt, what I like to do is just grab a zip tie and tie it up tight so it doesn't fall down loose. For us, we just remove it from the vehicle for a little bit of clearance. So that AC line is in the way. So what we're going to do is just back out the bolt for the AC line, 10 millimeter socket. Remove your belt. All right, so we're going to hit this bottom bolt here on the pulley, and then if you follow it straight down, there's one more bolt in here. So this top one is holding in your tensioner assembly, so is the bottom one. So we'll go ahead and at the 14 millimeter socket, we'll remove the pulley bolt. All right, so what we did is we used a breaker bar to break it free just for leverage. And now that the bolt is somewhat free, we're just moving to a ratchet. All right, so that bolt's pretty loose, and we'll leave it in there while we hit the bottom bolt. Bottom bolt is going to be a 12 millimeter. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to use the breaker bar for leverage. Okay, they're both broken free. All right, so this bolt here that we're taking out of the pulley, we're going to reuse this in the new tensioner assembly. Okay, so that's free. And we'll just work on the bottom, 12 millimeter. All right, so here's your 12 millimeter bolt in the bottom, and your tensioner assembly should just come out. All right, so to get it out, you're gonna have to take this bolt all the way out. And take that pulley with it. Now you should have enough clearance. Take your tensioner assembly right out. Now we're going to install our new tensioner. I'm going to put it in through the wheel well here. I'm just going to get it up into place. Now that we have our pulley somewhat in place, what we have to do in this position here is put our old bolt and the new pulley in place with the washer. And then raise it all in as one unit. Otherwise, there isn't enough clearance to get the bolt back in. Let's see if we can get this pulley bolt to thread in a little bit. We can spin the whole assembly into place. using the pulley bolt as a pivot. So now that we have it positioned, we can go ahead and thread in our bottom bolt. All right, and ideally here you want to thread them in as much as you can by hand, just because working in there with the tool is a little difficult. All right, now we're going to tighten these down. We're just going to snug them up, then we'll come back and torque them down. All right, now we'll move on to our pulley bolt, which is again a 14 millimeter. All right, now we can come back and torque them down. We're going to torque down the bottom 12 millimeter bolt to 16 foot-pounds. Okay, and now our 14 millimeter socket, we'll torque this one to 33 foot-pounds. All right, so at this point, you can now reinstall your belt. Feed as much of it as you can all the way up top to get it out of your way. This portion will go through your tensioner. Around your alternator. This will then ride under here. And then the rest of it goes up onto your power steering pump. So now what we're going to do is just pull our drive belt or a serpentine belt up, get it ready to be in position. So you can see it came off of the alternator, which is okay. We're just going to keep a little upward tension on it and put it back around our alternator. Okay. Now to keep everything somewhat in line and on the pulleys it needs to be on, try and keep upward tension on this. We're going to have to feed it underneath our power steering line. Okay, and we're going to have to take this belt and put it around our power steering pump. To do that, we're going to need our serpentine belt tool and get it onto our tensioner. Go ahead and get our belt somewhat lined up. And push to the rear of the vehicle as much as you can. And pull your belt onto your power steering pump pulley. It should be good enough to hold it in place. And we'll go again. There we go. Go ahead and remove your tool. Now from here, we can put our AC line back in place.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.